Well, unfortunately, there's absolutely no moral victories in our sport, but I was proud of our guys' effort. I thought they battled for 4 quarters. We knew it was going to be a 4-quarter fist fight, and I thought our defense was outstanding, and unfortunately, just too many mistakes offensively to overcome it. And, I've said this many times, you hold good football teams to 10 points, you should win the football game, in my opinion. But obviously didn't do enough offensively. And, we got a short week. Can't feel sorry for ourselves. We got to figure it out and come back and be better.
Matt, what did you want to do offensively going into this game? Where did you think you could?
Well, we wanted to try to establish the run game and try to build off of that. I thought there was some moments where we did a decent job. But ultimately it wasn't enough. It seemed to me that when we got in some of those critical moments, it wasn't necessarily the first and second down. It was more the money down, like third down, fourth down, where we just malfunctioned.
Are you fine with Jordan trying to throw the ball away there on the fumble so he doesn't take the sack to push you out of field goal range?
Yeah, I mean, I got to go back and see it. However, the guy's battling, so it's not for a lack of effort. Obviously, you'd rather take a sack than fumble the ball, but I know he's trying to get rid of the football and do everything in his power, and it is what it is.
Matt, on the second last series, after Love hit Musgrave for 9 yards, you had 4th and 1. Did you consider calling a timeout there?
We did, but we also were trying to preserve as much time as possible. I mean, shoot, we had a chance at the end of the game right there. Took a shot. Unfortunately, came up. It was incomplete to Christian down the field. But yeah, that definitely crossed my mind. I just thought 4th and a half a yard or whatever it was, 4th and a yard. You got to be able to convert in those situations. We'd done it earlier in the game and just didn't get it done, and that's extremely disappointing.
In the big picture, what's gone wrong offensively? I mean, you guys scored a lot of points in a lot of games to start the season, the last 15 games.
Yeah, it's been very, very choppy, I would say, as of late.
So it's mid-season now. I'm sure you would like your guys to be ascending too. Why has it gone the wrong direction?
That's a great question, Bill. I don't think I'd be answering the question if I had the answers for it. I think when you look at it, like I mentioned, just a lot of those situational ball, we just weren't clean and had, whether it was penalties, there was a drop there on a 4th down. I'll always look at myself first and foremost. Are we putting the guys in the right plays? Do we have opportunities to throw completions? I don't think it was. They played soft zone the majority of the game. I would say in the second half they started to man us up a little bit more. And they're just kind of waiting for you to mess up, and unfortunately we messed up way too many times.
You played Melton quite a bit. Has Heath not been practicing well, or what did you like about having Melton out there ahead of him most of the night?
No, it wasn't necessarily that at all. It was just, just how are you going to use your receivers in certain situations. Bo is a guy that we've used to take the top off quite a bit. And it just, I would say there was a lot of guys kind of in and out of the lineup. I mean, obviously we've been, had a few injuries at that position, and it was kind of a free-for-all. I would say the majority of that second half of who was in, who was out. We're running some deeper development stuff to try to open up, that mid-range passing game where we thought we could take advantage of. And it was somewhat successful at times, but I would just say it's a byproduct of just guys. Rome goes down, and you just have different guys running in and out of the lineup, and just how you're using those guys.
What happened to Dobbs?
I'll be honest with you, Rob, I don't have a ton of information right now. I just know that he was ruled out, and they said he was not going to be coming back.
Matt, it's obvious Tucker Kraft goes down. He's a focal point of the offense.
Sure.
You just talked about the intermediate game. He's a big part of that. You play a lot of 2 tight end sets tonight, not nearly as much for obvious reasons. How do you, as a play caller, have to adjust, not only that he's not there and the production he brings, but also just going to different personnel packages and how that affects the way you
Yeah, I think that's something that obviously we're struggling with finding the right solutions right now. So we got to take a long, hard look at that and come up with a better plan. Bottom line, you score 7 points in this league, you're probably not going to win many games. So that's give them a lot of credit. I thought they did an outstanding job. That's a good defense. They got really good players over there. I think Vic Fangio, you guys know how I feel about him. But ultimately, we have to do a much better job, and it always starts with myself.
Matt, I understand you guys are 5-3-1, still have a
Sure.
playoff spot right now, and you're going to say you're always coaching for your job, but you don't have a long-term extension. With the way things have gone this season, do you think you're coaching for your job?
I'm not. I'll leave that for everybody else to decide. I'll just focus on the day-to-day and trying to do. I feel like you're always coaching for everything in this league. You know, that's just my mindset. It's always been that way. You know, you can't ever exhale. You got to always be pushing, and that's just my mindset. So, and that will be my mindset until they tell me not to coach anymore.
And how much does Bo get work on offense versus defense in practice? And did you and Goody talk about elevating Shepard or Nayor?
Yeah, that was certainly all that was in part of the discussion. But you know, this week we thought it was best for us. I mean, Bo hasn't played a ton on defense. We thought we could use, you know, the speed element that he possesses to help open some things up offensively.
I'm just wondering because, you know, I think you could say you have the drop and then he aligns and gets that penalty. Looked like he kind of found his footing after that, but is that tough to put a guy in?
Yeah, absolutely. That's not easy. I commend his effort, man. That guy he's 100% wired the right way. I'm not at all disappointed with his play. You know, it's not an easy thing to do what he was asked to do. So we certainly appreciate just what he does for this football team. He is a team first guy that brings great energy every day. I love Bo Milton.
And I understand teams are playing you soft the way they are. Your quarterback's played a lot of good football over the years. You're paying him a lot of money. How do you find a way to still get the ball in his hands and make the kind of plays even though teams are playing you that way? Can you?
Yeah, I mean, I think we gotta. There's a lot that goes into that in regards to, you know, how we hit certain concepts down the field and how we're getting guys in the right spots, as well as, you know, being able to protect. I do think one thing that could help us immensely is we've got to get back in. If the running game, not that it was, I thought it was solid tonight. It was effective. But the more you can keep teams off balance, if you're really humming, that alleviates a lot of stress on your offense, and that's an area that, I mean, every area we got to be a lot better in.
You mentioned the run game. Josh Jacobs last year had a huge year, and this year he's had some good games. He's had some games that the running game hasn't gotten probably the way you want it to go.
Yeah, there's just specific moments, like, you know, you get a first down and then you hand the ball off and you get hit in the backfield. That's not on Josh Jacobs. You lose 4 yards right there. You're in 2nd and 14. Now you're get back on track situation. So I just think the consistency at which we do things, we just can't have some of these plays where you're losing. You might as well throw the ball and get sacked. I mean, if you know, it's just the reality of it.
You guys obviously started the season with some really high hopes, especially after getting Micah. How's the locker room? Can you keep them together? And is there any?
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. We've got the right guys in the locker room. I'm absolutely not at all concerned about that. We just have to find a way to win a football game, and we got to start by playing really good complementary football, which unfortunately we haven't done. And I feel like we've wasted a few performances. Really, you know, championship level defensive performances, and haven't been able to score enough points.
Why the field goal opportunity at the end over the maybe a Hail Mary?
Well, great question. That was basically the information I got was that he was close when he took the swing at the 64-yarder, and I mean, I don't know what the percentages would equate to, but Hail Mary's not by any stretch a gimme, so trust me, it definitely crossed my mind. But I think we had a little bit more confidence with how close the first kick was, so you take a shot.
Do you feel like you've gone into the bag for a lot of different things to try to get things going offensively tonight? You did some jumbo stuff, and it seems like it's coming up empty. Is there more there for you to go to that can get things rolling?
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be. We got to find solutions. So we're going to keep on battling. I know I don't sense any. There's a lot of frustration, obviously, when you're not performing to the level of winning football. But I do believe in the people, in regards to finding solutions to try to iron this out, and I'm confident that we can come up with something.
Do you have an idea on how bad Elton's ankle is?
Yeah, it doesn't sound promising.
Matt, I know you've talked a lot about this before with your run game, but with you being really run heavy on second and longs, is that a potential solution to changing those things on some of those downs and distances to set up better third downs, or not even get to third down in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, we're always trying to stay balanced. Going into this game, we really heavy pass on second and long. So every game's a little bit different. We knew that third and really long versus defense, not a great position to be in, especially how they're playing. I think they got a good secondary, and they got a shutdown corner in Mitchell over there. So you just try to make it a little bit more manageable in some of those situations.
Matt, if this is totally off base, tell me, but I don't feel like your offense has struggled to this degree since the first half of 23 when Jordan was first starting out as the starter. And then you told him he had to let it rip, and then you said you had to let it rip as a play caller. With the way defenses are playing you, can you do that and be a little more, I guess, aggressive or whatever it might be to try and get something going, or is that an unrealistic idea?
Yeah, I mean, it takes every facet to open things up, and until we, do a better job, like really in every phase of the game when it comes to offense, it's going to be a struggle. So we got to coach better, we got to play better.
If they're playing soft zone, that should allow for some easier completions underneath, right? Generally speaking?
Generally speaking,
Okay,
yeah.
So what happened the first half then? I mean, you guys had, if you include this, actually had 20 net passing. What was obviously you picked up a bit in the second half, but what went wrong in those first two quarters?
Yeah, a lot went wrong. We had a couple batted balls down at the line of scrimmage. There were a couple moments where we got pressure on the quarterback, so a lot went wrong.
Last year when Jordan went out, you were able to put together a running offense that was successful even without maybe the threat of that passing attack. But this year it seems like maybe you haven't been able to quite get the run game going the way that you would like. Has there been a regression in the offensive line play, or why is it not being?
No, I don't want to put that on our guys. I think just as a staff, we got to do a better job of trying to come up with something to generate some momentum, because right now it's tough, and so we got to dig ourselves out of this hole, and we got to find some better solutions.
Two more, please.
On the last fourth down, you guys did not huddle, right? You just
We did
went
not.
line.
No, we were trying to. Like I said, we had 2 timeouts left, trying to preserve time.
Are
And
you making that play call, or and are you okay with it was 4th and 1?
Yeah.
Because you went shotgun. Would you have rather gone under center or?
yeah, if I knew it was going to get us a first down.
What did you tell the guys? What was your kind of message to them, given where you're at?
Yeah, I just said, hey, I commended their effort. I thought those guys battled. I don't sense any quit in there. Obviously, that's a good football team that we went against, and we just got to be better offensively. Is really the message. And I thought our defense played really well. I thought we did some good things on teams. And unfortunately, like I said all along, it's just you got to find a way to score more points. And it starts with myself, and then there's some level of execution that has to go with that as well.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys, have a good night.
2-minute, I know you're going fast. Looks like this is easy for me to say, but it looks like on the broadcast that they're pointing out what you're doing, where you're going, and what you're running. Did you catch that live? Is that a tendency you guys need to break, or was that just me seeing stuff?
Yeah, no, I think it's a call that we called a couple times, going fast throughout the game, and they probably heard the call and or were guessing. So yeah, there was a D lineman saying some stuff, but I still thought we had a light box. We could try and run it right there.
Do you make that play call, or is Matt making that through the headset, or are things going too fast and you have to do it?
Matt makes that play call. Yep.
Jordan, how do you get things going again?
Just got to get back to the drawing board. Same thing as last week, get back to the film session. Trying to find ways to figure out what we're not doing as well right now. What's kind of keeping us in a funk and not letting us kind of get into a rhythm. And just keep trying to build on the things we've done a good job of. So it always comes back to getting back to it next week and getting back to work.
Is it disconcerting that you guys play a lot of good football this year, and in the last 2 games here, you just couldn't get anything going whatsoever?
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely frustrating, as an offense. And it's, like I said, it's where we just got to look ourselves in the mirror and find ways to keep improving and keep figuring out what we've done good and what we're not doing as good of a job right now. And just keep working, but it's definitely frustrating.
Jordan, I don't know if there's any parallels to the 2023, but you guys got it going at the end of that season. You went on a really good run. Can and how do you do that with this group?
Yeah, we can definitely get to that. It's all about going 1 week at a time, like we said, but it starts with getting a win. Getting a win and building upon that. Like you said, that's exactly what we did in 23. Just keep finding ways to go out there each week and get better. And, I think the mindset is just keep believing in the guys we got, and that's what we'll keep doing.
So Jordan, I get that you need to watch the film, and I understand that, back to the drawing board and whatever. What do you think is wrong with your offense?
Yeah, we're just not.
used to it looking this way.
Yeah, we're not getting any consistency right now. We're not getting into a rhythm. We'll have a good play here, and then it kind of we'll have a negative play, whether it's a lot of things, whether it's a turnover, penalty, drop, sack, it's a lot of things. So it's just finding ways to keep the positive plays going and avoid these negative plays that we're getting. But I think we're just kind of shooting ourselves in the foot right now and getting in the funk of, having some good plays and then not building off them properly and having a play that might hurt the drive and we can't overcome it.
With Rob's question about 23, Matt said, let it rip, right? And that's when you took off that year, and he kind of let it rip as a play caller. Can you do that, or is the way teams are playing you with the soft zone stuff predicated on you got to get the running game going first before you can start letting it rip throwing?
Yeah, it's all of that. We got to find ways to attack the coverages we're getting and, find ways to keep, like I said before, finding plays that are working against that stuff and keep building upon that. But, yeah, obviously, the run game, I think we did some good things tonight. And then it's the same thing, like I said before, there's just plays that go backwards and aren't helping us, and then we can't overcome those things. But, yeah, we definitely got to find ways. It's 2 weeks in a row, kind of the similar style of defense that we got to find answers versus it.
Are you guys going in, Jordan, to games with the right way to attack? And if not, are you adjusting on the fly?
I do think we are. I think obviously we put a game plan throughout the week of, stuff we see on film and what we want to attack. And, if we get certain looks that, some of these plays are favorable against, we gotta execute them. We gotta, take those shots and make the defense pay. But, like you said, there's always going to be, looks that maybe we haven't seen on film, or a play might just not be, great versus the coverage we get. So we just got to find ways to keep executing on those. But, no, we've been doing some good things. I think it's the same process since I've been here that we're, sticking to throughout the week of finding things that we like on film and trying to find ways to attack that if we get it in the game.
Jordan, the 3 teams that have beat you haven't scored more than 16. What does it feel like in the locker room as the offense when your defense is holding up their end of the bargain in those games?
Yeah, it's tough. Like I said before, it's disappointing. It's frustrating. You feel like as the offense you're letting the defense down because they're doing such a great job. Obviously, that's a really good offense over there. And, they stopped them for the majority of the game. And, we just didn't find ways to score. And it's just not good enough. So it's definitely frustrating. But, we'll find ways to overcome this and to be better, for sure.
And Jordan, obviously, losing Tucker Kraft is a big deal, changes the way you're going to play, changes the personnel package, everything that goes into that. You guys didn't play a lot of multiple tight end sets tonight for obvious reasons, and so going forward as a quarterback, how does that change things for you when you're going more 3 wide receiver, 4 wide receiver sets? How do you have to adjust now that he's not going to be coming back this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's no matter who you're talking about, you got to be able to overcome injuries, whatever position that is, and obviously at the tight end position, we'll do some more 11 personnel and not have as many 12 personnel sets or 13 personnel. So. We'll see, but it all comes back to just finding ways to attack the defense. I'm confident whatever personnel grouping we put out there, if it's 4 receivers, if it's 3 tight ends, we got to find ways to go execute no matter who's out there.
Speaking of injuries, Elton Jenkins goes down, Sean Ryan comes in and has a phenomenal game. What kind of energy does he bring to that huddle?
No, Sean brings a great energy. Obviously, he's a guy who's played a lot of ball. So, it's tough losing Elton. And we'll see what the status is on him, but yeah, I think Sean did a great job coming in, and he's a guy who stays ready for whatever opportunity it is, whether it's guard, center, whatever. So he did a good job tonight. Just got to keep building on it.
How do you feel like, how did you play tonight? How have you been playing lately? What do you think?
Yeah, I think not good enough. I think it all starts with taking care of the ball. I think turnovers has been something that's been hurting us in these close games. So I've got to find ways to overcome that, keep being smart with the ball, and then just keep going out there and trying to play my best, but definitely not good enough.
What happened on the fumble? Obviously, you were trying to get a throw in there.
Yeah, I was trying to throw it to Josh, and I'm not sure where I got hit from, but, the ball came out.
2 more.
Would you like to see faster tempo or more autonomy at the line of scrimmage? Anything that you'd like to see different with the offense?
No, I mean, I think at times it's necessary, and I think we've done some good things when we get on the ball and go fast. I think we got a lot of bank reps on some of the plays we run in the 2-minute drill setting because we do it, so much throughout the week. But, I think there's a time and place for it, and I think, if we can't find ways to keep executing it, we might need to just keep looking at what's working and we're doing well, and that might be an answer. It might not be an answer. So, like I said, we just got to keep looking at it. But, I do know if you go fast and jump the ball and don't, get a first down, it's a quick way to get off the field. So, I think we've done some good things when we need to have it situations, and then sometimes it just isn't good enough. So, we'll see.
Where's your level of trust that Matt and the staff can find the answers?
I mean, I got a lot of trust in Matt. That's something that's not wavering at all. I've been with Matt since I got here. I know exactly what he's capable of, what the whole staff's capable of. So that's not anything that's wavering. Like I said, it just comes back to all of us, players, coaches, everybody, finding ways to improve and get better.
Jordan, just going through these, you've had some scoring droughts the last 6 or 7 games, and then something like tonight. Does that shake up the locker room at all? How do you keep things together in there where guys, aren't turning on each other, or, where they stick with it?
Yeah, no, I think we got a great locker room, and I think the message is to stay together. Obviously, it's disappointing, it's frustrating, but it's a long season, and we'll find ways to improve. I'm very confident as an offense we'll find ways to get back to being great, putting up points and helping the defense out, but it's frustrating. And I know as a defense, they definitely have every reason to look at us and say, what are you guys doing? You guys need to figure it out and help us out, put up some more points because they're doing a great job. So it's frustrating, but, we'll stay together. We'll keep the energy high and find ways to get better and be better as offense.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, guys.